to uncover their world, a world of princes and concubines, a world where men devoted to the art of pleasure were also experts in the art of war. This is the lost world of the Kama Sutra. India, the world's largest democracy, but once a shifting territory of feuding tribes and warring clans. 1,000 years ago, here at Khajuraho, in the kingdom known as the Heart of India, a dynasty of Hindu kings called the Chandelas constructed an amazing city of temples. And yet, it's not their grandeur that has earned these temples their fame. What has made them notorious is sex. Our investigators, Kristen Romey and Alex Evans, have come here to India to see if they can uncover the truth about this extraordinary civilization and the world that its rulers built, the kingdom of the Kama Sutra. They believe these temples hold the vital clues to understanding a people for whom sex was not a taboo. They are the key to recreating a world completely different from our own.
You have the erotic art at the joining of the Great Hall and the hallway.
These explicit images of sex are the first clue to this ancient culture. They are derived from the Kama Sutra. This ancient Indian manual is now famed for its description of sexual positions, but it was written as a way of teaching people the central importance of sex and desire. It's a window into ancient Hindu beliefs. Archaeologist Kristen Romey has explored the pyramids of Egypt and the Great Wall of China, but nothing has prepared her for the temples at Khajuraho, covered with erotic art.
The detail here in this temple is absolutely amazing. I mean, just the amount of energy that's been poured just into this tiny little building.
Kristen is on a mission to decipher these carvings.
You turn into a single corner, and all of a sudden there's another whole sculptural unit. It's almost like, where's Waldo? It's absolutely remarkable.
And every figure, every detail has a sacred purpose. This is a religious text written in stone. The Kama Sutra means discourse on sexual love. Although it was compiled by Hindu scholar Vatsyayana over 1,500 years ago, the images it inspired at Khajuraho still have the power to shock.
Some of the acts shown are so acrobatic, almost bordering on the physically impossible, that they're enough to make an anthropologist blush.
As graphic as these carvings are, they are a vital clue into understanding an ancient way of life that now seems almost alien. For the Chandelas, sexual pleasure was a way to reach spiritual enlightenment. It played a central role in religious life. Prostitutes even plied their trade in the temple grounds. They were dancing girls who performed at religious festivals, but also provided the priests with sexual favors. Alex Evans is a stonemason, expert in the construction of ancient buildings. He compares the work he sees at Khajuraho to that of the builders of Europe's great Christian churches.
The way that the human figure is depicted here is very different to what you'd see in a typical medieval cathedral. Here it is very sensual.
But he wants to see beyond the figures, to know how the building beneath is still standing after 1,000 years. If the figures are an expression of religious devotion, the structure itself is the product of tremendous effort and engineering skill.
It is very difficult to tell when it's so covered in carving everywhere, the actual construction behind it.
Placing himself in the position of the temple builders, Alex sees this stone pillar as evidence of remarkable craftsmanship. But these pillars alone are nowhere near strong enough to support the huge weight of the temple's great main spire. It's as tall as the Statue of Liberty, but at 5,000 tons, it's 20 times heavier. Alex enters the inner sanctum of the temple, which lies directly beneath it. Compared to the circumference of the outer walls, the space inside is tiny. This wasn't just the innermost shrine. It was the rock on which the spire was founded. In the rest of the temple, a framework of vertical pillars supports horizontal beams and the roofs above. But to hold up the main spire, the builders created what was in effect a giant hollow pillar. The Chandelas built high because they wanted their spires to represent mountain peaks. They believed their god Shiva lived in the Himalayas. This Hindu god takes on many forms. At Khajuraho, he is still worshipped as the creator of life, and the Chandelas celebrated him as such throughout the temples. These temples burst with sensuous images of gods and mortals in erotic poses. They are all reminiscent of descriptions in the Kama Sutra. 646 figures adorn one temple alone. Their erotic displays incurred the wrath of Muslim warlords who were looting and burning Hindu temples throughout northern India. For these Muslims, depictions of the naked body were an affront to their religion, and they would have to be destroyed. But the Chandelas were not merely temple builders with a taste for the exotic. From her study of the carvings, Kristen has discovered that the temples also reveal them to be warrior kings. They were schooled in the art of battle. And the time would come when these people, devotees of pleasure and the arts of love, would have to fight to defend their erotic temples and their way of life.
Punjab, a land of 5 rivers, of hospitality,